Day 3. This is my daughter's statement to Detective Caldwell. We're going to read this in 2 pages or 3 apiece because it is quite lengthy.
Alright. This statement was taken on 9/9 of 99. The interviewer was Detective Mike Koval, badge number of 825. The witness was Sherrie Bauer. Sherrie Bauer is my mother. At that time, she was sworn in to her testimony, and Detective Mike asked the question of, "You are here today in the discussion of our ongoing investigation of the death of Ted Richard Schmidt. Is that correct?" She responded, "Yes." "And you have knowledge about a relationship between Mr. Schmidt and his girlfriend Tammy and her family, Jean Rhodes, and Otis McMullen. Is that correct?" "Yes, sir." "Tell me what you know to start with." I met Tammy one weekend at my younger brother's house. Him and Tammy had come over there. Inaudible. "Can tell you, Tammy and Ted had come over to my brother's house while I was there with my kids. And I was introduced to her and her children and everything. And I said, I was joking around. I said she seems like she's pretty neat. And I didn't see them again until it was probably about a month later. Ted had come up to the house with Tammy and the girls and said that they had had problems out at Tammy's parents' house. That there had been threats made and that Tammy was being disowned from the family because of being with Ted. And they called him Teddy. And at the time, he had asked me and my fiance if he could reside at our reside at our residence until they got up on their feet and got more situated. And if it was okay if we can put the kids and use their address to put their children into a public school and to get them back in school. And we had the children into the public schools to get them back in school. And we had agreed to it and only supposed to have been for a week. And, due to Tammy's ex-husband Todd had went to, after we had gotten them in school and took care of everything that we were already staying at. I'm sorry, this is just, it's been completely jumbled around and it's very hard to read because in a lot of spots of the testimony it throws into a loop and it throws you off and you have to carefully read it because they have left so much information out and they have twisted and put words to point where it doesn't really make sense. And I feel like I'm a fool right now because I'm reading this out loud and it's a lot difficult than what it should be. So I do apologize. After they had got them in school and they took care of everything, they got them registered in the Lehigh Elementary School in Lehigh and got them in school. And about 3 days after they were in school, Tammy went to the bus stop to pick up the kids. Well, two of the kids went to Lehigh. One of the kids wasn't with us at the time. 2 of the kids got put in school, and one of the kids was still waiting for paperwork out of the Everglades City School before she could go in. So we had the youngest one with us. That's the way that worked. And she went to the bus stop to pick up the kids because it was quite a ways from our house that it was too far for the little kids to walk. So she went up and took care of it and took Ted's car up to the bus stop to pick up the kids, and the kids was not there. So she had called the school to find out maybe if they had missed the bus or whatever. And she was told at the time that Todd had come and picked up the kids, and Tammy got on the phone at that point and called Everglades at her mom's house and wanted to know what was going on. And her mother said, or her mom and them wouldn't give her any information. That evening at dinner time, Teddy had come in from work and Danny had come in from work, who is my fiance. And the rest of the kids were there. It was at that point there 3 kids at the house and my 2 and her littlest one. We got to talking and the phone rang shortly after dinner. We were starting to clean up the kitchen and we answered the phone and a voice asked to speak to Amber. I think it's Amber, the oldest child. Yeah, I think it's Amber. It was the oldest girl, and I asked who spoke, and he said it was her father. And I said, well, under my understanding, there's been some type of restraint put against you. And I said that I would prefer you not talking to her until this is all cleared up. And Detective Koval asked, was it Ted Lopez? That was Ted Lopez, the ex-husband, the kids' father.
I'm going to say something. I thought his name was Todd.
Oh, excuse me. Todd Lopez. I apologize. I misread it.
Okay. I'm sorry, but, it's important that we have, because the names in some of the reports are wrong.
Yes, and we will be showing those in later videos as well. Would you like to read the next page?
You want me to? Sure. Okay. Who proceeded to tell me that it was none of my damn business and that I had no right to say anything. And I said, excuse me, this is my home. My home will not be disrupted by any of this. Do you understand me? And he told me the F word. I'm not going to repeat it. And that, just see about that. And as you can see, they break it up. It's all broke up. Can you see that? It's all broke up. So I'm not just reading crazy. And with that, I hung up the phone. At that time, I picked up the phone. I called the substation in Lehigh. I said, look, I've got a problem here. I need an officer to come out to the house, and I need to find out what I can do on this situation. And they said, unless they physically come to do anything, there's not a whole lot they can do. And I said, I understand that. And I said, well, is there any way that car, I've got my brother's car here, it's got Collier County tags on it. And I showed him. See, and you have ... in the middle. And I showed him. And I told him, my vehicle, see, doesn't make sense. And I said, if there's any, would you, ... would you please cause we work? And I said, if there's any way that you could kind of put some extra petrol or something in the neighborhood just to kind of make sure everything's cool while we're gone. He said, no problem. And that it was. The next day, I took Tammy over here to Collier County, over to child support, and she found out a bunch of stuff that he there, and that ... I have to do that because this is terrible. Technicality stuff that he's still pretty much had custody, and the whole mess started. We got home that night. Another man called, which was called Papow. Papow? Papow.
Papa.
I'm not sure on that, and that's all I'm gonna say. And dot dot dot, because I don't know. I don't know how to do this. He was called Papaw. Got on this phone and said if Ted Schmidt come back anywhere near him, he would dot dot dot, or anywhere in the vicinity of him, that he was going to kill him. Point blank, that he wasn't putting up with this shit, and dot 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 went on. And I told that man, I said, look, this is my house. This is not their house. I don't need it. I do not want it. And I said, I'm calling the law. And I hung up. And I just told them, look, we just got another phone call from that bunch up there. Didn't want no part of Tammy. They're just making threats and dot dot dot. I said, I don't need this dot dot dot. I need some kind of protection here at my house, because I have my own family. I said, they're only here temporarily until they get on their feet. Well, then Tammy, and then I took over to Ortez Avenue and helped them find this place and get them set up and everything. And from that point till this point, I've spoken to my brother, just my brother, not Tammy, up until Monday night. I had not spoken with Tammy, but I had seen my brother, and my brother had talked to my kids and stuff 2 times prior to that, because there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I haven't really had time to talk to my brothers. You know how that goes. You know, you get involved in your own family. Now, this is my daughter. The next thing I hear after I talked to Teddy, the last time, everything was doing great. He was, dot dot, I don't know why they leave this thing. He'd been working pretty steady and everything was going good, and they had gotten the kids back. And so with that, I never thought any more. And then Monday night, I'd been working in Audible auction Monday during the day, and I get a call home. I'm called home 2 or 3 times to check the kids, because I had my oldest daughter watching my youngest daughter, and to check to see if they were okay. And we were going to stop by McDonald's and dot 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 and dot dot dot, or Burger King, and pick up some dinner, because it was like 8 o'clock at that time. She said, excuse me, she said that and Tammy and police officers had come by the house, and that I needed to get a hold of somebody in Collier County. That's what she said. And I said, now see, this doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? And she said, Mama, I don't know, something was on the paper, because eventually when they came in, the sheriff deputy that came there, laid the paper on the table while she was talking to him. I think it was a female, from what I understand. Laid it on the table and was talking to Chantel, name not spelled right either, who is the oldest daughter, and she read on the paper that Ted, as they didn't even finish that name, that Ted Schmidt again has been stabbed. Now, this is a statement, do you understand? Which does not make a lot of sense, does it? Well, when she told me that the phone, and this is the first time I've read this, I said, do what? And she said, Uncle Teddy was stabbed. And I said the first thing that came out of my mind was, what in the hell has he gotten his butt into now? I mean, that's just basically how I took it. And then I popped off. I was at a friend's house because I had a girlfriend with me, and I had dropped her. We were dropping her off is when I called. And I looked around and I said, well, I hope you don't expect me to bail his butt out of this one, joking around, being just popping off about him. And when I got back in the car and I started down the highway, it hit me. And I looked over at Danny and I said, Teddy's dead. And he goes, no, you're reading too much into it. I said, no, I know he's dead. And we got to the house and Tell had been wrote down on a little piece of paper, which is my oldest daughter, and on a little piece of paper that Walter, I've heard him talk about on when they lived with us. But that, and Teddy's obviously Marshall, and Janita, that was their names. And I had got with the number where I could reach, and I called up and I asked to speak to Tammy. No, I called up and I asked, I said, hello, I said, is this Marshall? Came because it was a man, and he said, yeah. And I said, what's going on? And he said, well, Teddy died, and Tammy's real upset. And I said, well, can I talk to Tammy? And his reactions, his statement to me at that time was, I don't know if Tammy is afraid how you're going to react. We need to stop the video right now.